Congress has allocated a good amount to the state of North Carolina, and it was the requisite level of matching that needed to happen did happen. So we were able to get that. Millions of those dollars are going towards building a much more secure statewide system. But there are pieces of that money that we committed to Congress in a letter to the Federal Elections Commission to try to work with counties that are in like the most dire need. And that was part of why we had DHS really pushing them to come out and offer their services to the counties, to try to identify some of the weakest points in their office ecosystem. And there are other counties, you know, you're not even probably the worst, where resources are an issue and where you need some things done.
Well, that's what if I may, I'm Alan Johnson.
Nice to meet you.
One of the county attorneys, sorry, late, but was that audit that we received, did that pretty much mirror a lot of other counties as well?
So,
I mean, what you're basing it on there, I mean, you know, because there was, Blaine County might be in need of certain things. Is it like that in a lot of other rural counties as well, though?
so we know some of what the counties, Homeland Security considers the county the client. And so when they're giving this kind of information, they won't give it to us directly. We're still working with Homeland Security, like Washington people, to try to change those lines of communication so we can be in on it. From the counties that gave it to us, there were a couple that were in similar situations. It's not the case that we had any that I'm aware of where they had like co-housing of other agencies and any kind of concerns like that. They just, for whatever reason, the norm throughout the state is separate. But not all the counties that have them come in have disclosed to us the full document. So I will say that. So it's possible that it's more normal. It's also possible that it's not. I just have not seen those other documents.
Okay, the only other question I have is, if a voter makes a complaint, this has been an issue as long as I've been involved in voting in this situation. Voters will, I can tell you, I already had, I don't know how many phone calls from voters with issues. You know, I went to the polls and I was told this. If they make a complaint, is there a process besides calling a board member? Because what I've been telling them is, I know there's a complaint form, I've filled them out myself in past years. Document what your complaint is, and then it comes before us as a board, right?
It can. So it's actually best to try, if they're just calling you, is that what you're saying is happening?
Yeah, they called me on the phone saying, I got turned away at polls, I was told I couldn't have an assistant. I was told that I wasn't registered, I know I am, you know, I don't know why, but I don't know how many other board members are getting, but I'm getting, every day I'm really voting out that phone call.
Well, you're all leaders of like communities, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So of course you're probably getting some stuff. But
Yeah.
what our board members always try to do when they're getting that type of interaction is they try to push it to the staff. Like, I understand, I'd love to be the one to just handle this for you, but because this is something that could come before me, and I don't want to get caught up in being part of the facts and have to recuse myself, in order for me to best, you know, take care of this issue, I need you to call over to the professional staff. And
I
that,
can tell them to come and fill out complaints form.
yeah,
They
sure.
feel like they have a
You can
valid-
email it to them. You know, you can have staff email it to them. It's like, if you give me your email or give me your phone number, I'll have staff call you. That's a better way sometimes, so you're not making them do the legwork of calling, you know, calling back or something like that. But that is, you know, there's not a fixed way that just does it. And similarly, if you are hearing something that's a problem, we have had instances where like one board member just, they got the hero gene, like they're going to solve that problem, and they will just like show up at a site and they'll just start ordering people around and change up everything, and then lo and behold, a protest happens because you get some close election, and that protest alleges that an irregularity that affected somehow the way that things were going was that a board member interjected themselves all on their own and changed the way that the statutes say the polling place is supposed to run, with the chief judge, you know, and the assistant judges and all of that. And so you want not to be in that position. Because then you have to, one, you might have done something problematic that caused the protest, but you'd also have to recuse, and you wouldn't even be part of resolving a dispute within your own county. And that's not why you're here. You're here to resolve those disputes. So it's best to work through the channels. Secondarily, it's great to be able to grab, if it's a Democratic member who's getting the call, grab a Republican member if you're going to go to the polls at all. So at least there's that kind of bipartisan thing. It's not just one member going rogue, because they're always going to defer to you. You show up at any one-stop site, you show up at any board, a precinct. You're the board member, right? Whatever you say goes. You might be wrong though.
Yeah.
Right? And so you know, having that kind of humility with the process and realizing that stuff escalates after an election if it ends up being close, I think it's just real important.
So would it be appropriate for us as a board to establish a policy of if a voter has a complaint about the way they were treated at the poll, about something that happened at the poll? We have some kind of protocol to follow.
I think it's a great idea, and we've done it informally at our board level, but it's absolutely appropriate if your board wanted to say, hey, we need a process for this, and in that way, you know, if somebody's calling Mr. White, you want to know that somebody's calling Mr. White. It'd be great if staff, you know, was putting that together and then shooting you an email, all of you, you know, with that voter complaint stand in or something, if that's helpful, because you don't want one member to be sitting on a bunch of stuff, and lo and behold, may not have been that big of a deal to that one member.
Exactly.
But it ends up becoming a big deal to the other members if they knew about it. But we
Right.
have seen that in other counties,
Yeah.
and it's not great. So, anything else that we can look at your meeting? Good? All right.
Thanks a lot.
You know where to find us.
Thank you very much, we appreciate it. Yes. And we will be calling you if need be.
Well, let's just knock on stuff. It's like pray line, whatever needs that.
That's right.
Well, you know, I told him before that this is your last time he was talking to me. And I told him, I said, I think, he asked me about one of the best things we have going for us, was, I said, I think one of the best things we have going for us is that we're really committed to try to be transparent and open in what we do. But the problem with that is, you reveal all your errors and mistakes and foibles, they become just as transparent too, so. And sometimes that's the thing people jump on the most.
Okay, so we are down now to item 5. Okay. And that is individuals wishing to address the board. And do we have anyone? Any board members got anything? Okay. Item 6, action items. Processing of the absentee ballot. Okay, so we have 16 ballots. Okay. You wanna split up like you did last time? Yes. You said 16? So that's give us
8
what?
each.
4 each.
We'll take 8. Well, you take, you guys.
Oh, y'all
share.
take 8,
And
we'll
we'll
take
share
8.
8
Okay.
and you share 8.
All right.
That's okay.
That's fine.
So that's their first 8. This is of course. I'm good. I know what to look for now.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed this, but even last week I noticed that most of the absentee ballots are from District 7 and not 9. That really surprised me, because you know, all they're voting for is soil and water over there. But that's a hot issue. My brother used to be on the soil and water board, and that's a lot hotter issue than I realized. Do we have the log, Valeria?
Yes. Excuse me. We had 8 to come back in hand delivered. And evidently, the wrong log was picked up when Miss Shirley next ballot was brought in. So on here it's showing where it went out on the 25th, but that's the day it was mailed. And then coming back in on the 30th. But the first 3 are from the last time.
Gotcha.
This one's not got
yeah, this is husband and wife. This,
Oh, mine had it.
this guy.
This is, one, oh, it is. Stephen Wayne Brothers. They were all been delivered.
Well, I had a bad handwriting.
Meg, this is Meg's right here.
Yeah,
So what was the issue with that?
She's the one that got my.
we have another law where they
25,
steer on it, and they bring the registry of the application.
Uh-huh.
She had a
And
great
the wrong law was picked up.
So,
The 25th, it was filed in, and then the 30th, the 25th, the
it was mailed
application.
out.
Right, it was mailed out that day, the application was brought in that day, and then the 30th, it was brought back in.
We had two.
Is it going to count or? Gonna be a big question mark.
Is that his daughter?
Must be.
This is it, isn't it?
And I saw that, I didn't know
It's
that.
not.
It was
The
brought back in.
30th, on the 30th. So, help me out. If this is just the only stamp on it, then that means it was hand brought in. It should be on that form. Okay. There was another one I passed you just now, you just had on there. I didn't see if that was on there. Did you see if that one was on? That one on that sheet, that, see if that's on
See
there.
it on the sheet there.
As returned, Pauline Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, I'm not
Uh-uh.
sure. It's not on there?
What's the,
It's not on
it
there.
should be though, shouldn't it?
It should be, if it wasn't mailed back. Yeah, but all the ones that we had that were returned, they're lost. They're mostly just from two families, anyway.
That one too. Let's see.
I guess this one was hand delivered, huh?
Uh-huh. That should be on there too, shouldn't it?
Mhm.
Let's see.
I mean, I don't have any doubt that this one is, because I know her and I know her witness, but it's just curious that it was not mailed, that it's not right.
It's not.
Is that the only one that wasn't logged so far? I didn't check the log against, I think I passed over about 3, but should have been logged, but I didn't check the log.
this one is, there's your mail. And then this is the one that she said was on here twice. Yeah, so that's the only one that,
That's the only one, the
This is-
Meg's one?
no, the next one is on here logged twice.
Mhm.
Miss Pauline Graham. is the-
Okay.
She's related to Mr. Al Daniels.
And his
And
one
that's
is
what these-
got the date stamped on it. It was the only.
I mean, it was received here in the office Monday. They
So,
just didn't
now
like it.
these all have the date and time stamped on there, but the first set didn't. It just had the stamp, nobody, I guess
it
it
didn't
must
have
be
time
just
written in?
Gina. Is that GPW Gina?
That's Gina.
She must be the only one who does that issue.
Yeah, we did.
And everybody else just stamps it, and didn't write anything on there.
Hers wasn't logged on, but it was here. Well,
Yeah, hers was not logged, she was not logged in. But it says it was received yesterday.
Gina and I yesterday.
Hmm?
No one was, excuse me, no one was here but Gina and I yesterday.
Well, I can understand, you know, if it gets hectic, you know, a lot of people coming in and out. I mean, I don't have any doubt, like I said, she could only vote for soil and water conservation. I don't think there's a lot of fraud going on in that race, but I could be wrong.
I doubt it.
I
It's
mean,
not
most
logged,
of
it's
these
not
are
logged.
quarter soil anyhow.
I think it is. But I mean, that really is a hotter issue than I thought it was gonna be. But one of the candidates is extremely popular. He's extremely well loved, so Mr. Gillespie, so I think that's probably the driving force there.
I guess y'all see all saw these.
Yeah, we did.
So what's the question?
Well, that's up to us if we think that there's some sinister reason it wasn't logged. I don't have any reason to believe that. It was just an oversight, I'm sure.
Tell you what, I thought I had a bad handwriting. I'll tell you, looking at these things, I got a pretty handwriting. Sir, you can't read this stuff. You scribble. How many do we have?
16?
16.
Did you say 16 was full? Oh, my. I went way back.
11 were brought in and delivered. This from the county here.
No, the first three are from the last.
Last time, okay. This is
I did that again, not too long ago.
5, 6, 7, 8. Were brought
16.
in.
Myself, yeah.
And 8.
Isn't it interesting that some
Eight should have been
counties
brought in
have
and
no
eight.
agriculture company?
I know, I saw that today when I was looking at
Even
it.
Mecklenburg only has 72.
I printed that out for you. We got that, we get that every day. And to look at some of the people they're voting in, they're not voting in these other counties. Look at Cumberland.
Yeah, well, Cumberland, only a small part of it's in District 9. And it's this part that's more rural. And the only thing they vote for is that District 9 thing. So,
Those numbers just sit there for all day long. Those two people all day long.
I know.
exactly.
So are we finished now with our
We gotta sign that certification list.
sign service?
This is back here. Anywhere, I can't remember. Up here, I think we signed right.
at the bottom.
Bottom.
It's like people when I was coming to the election meetings back in November, they were doing 300 absentee ballots at the time.
Being that we have, gone through and processed the absentee ballot, I would like to have a motion to accept the absentee,
Make a motion that be accepted.
I second the motion.
it's been moved and properly second that we accept the processing of the absentee ballots. Question? All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign, hearing none. The absentee ballots have been processed. Our next item on the action items is the assignment of poll workers. And Ms. McCoy has given us, a list when we left the meeting on, last week. They were directed to try to work the situation out with the chief judges and judges. And the only one that I see where there is a question you have in your hand is for Lake Creek.
You had appointed Winifred Lewis to work that precinct. And she didn't wanna be chief judge. And then we had worked it out where she would just be a judge, and we called her back. And she's got a lot of personal stuff going on right now. And she said she wouldn't be available.
Okay.
So what we've done, we have contacted Phyllis Latham.
Yeah, I know her.
You know her?
I do know her.
She'd be a good one.
She would be.
Okay, well, Chris knew her and he called her and she said she would be willing to work. And she has not worked before, she has not trained, but she's gonna come in and watch. We're gonna get her the online training,
Mhm.
and she's gonna come in Monday and talk with Veronica and them when the supplies are picked up.
She can definitely handle it, there's no doubt about it.
She could.
And with
Oh,
Miss
yeah.
Claire,
Mhm.
Miss Claire's done it several times for years, so.
Yeah,
But I did not have time to put that on here.
oh yeah. She'll
I
be
got her. and
What's
she's
her name again?
Phyllis
Phyllis
Latham.
Latham. And she's unaffiliated.
Mhm.
That's, for Lake Creek.
Mhm.
Lake Creek.